Sanders' fumble of the day, and the Alouettes would recover, and they try to find the end zone. They just can't. Jerome Messam, couple of plays. As a matter of fact, a -1 on that second handoff. Weldon Brown gets the credit for the tackle, and the Alouettes have to settle for a field goal. Nieswander here looking for Brandon London. He finds him, but then London flings it out of bounds. They're able to maintain possession, but they don't come away with any points. Corey Sheets the other way, getting blocked by Rob Bagg, and Rob injures his knee here. We'll talk about that a little later on. He would not return in the football game. We are into the second half here. The Riders leading by the slimmest of margins, 8-7. And Corey Sheets Jock Sanders can't hold on to the football. Daryl Townsend, a one-time Rider, hangs on to it. The Owls turn it into a 25-yard Sean White field goal, and they take the lead. Nieswander's still in for Anthony Calvillo, who just couldn't come back. Here he's picked off by Tyron Brackenridge.
Great play by Brackenridge. Look at this.
And that, I believe,
out of nowhere,
moves Brackenridge into the team lead for interception. So Ricky Schmidt punting again. Tim Carrier, his first CFL start at returns. He fumbles, but somehow they were able to maintain possession. So the Owls get the ball. Second play of the drive. S.J. Green all of a sudden became their go-to guy. And he's not a bad go-to guy either, is he?
He sure isn't.
Now for Tyrell Sutton. And Ray Williams gets the eventual tackle on him. Now we move late third quarter. It's an 11-11 game. Chris Getzlaff hauls in this long pass from Darian Durant. It's a 32-yard reception. Byron Parker, or is it Billy Parker? Billy Parker gets credit for the Parker brothers.
Right.
Playing over on that side of the defense. It's turned into a 26-yard Saskatchewan field goal for Milo, and they have a 3-point lead. Nieswander for S.J. Green again. Weldon Brown comes across to make the tackle.
Nieswander and S.J. Green combining there for a couple of big
drive continues, and it's a 38-yard field goal for the Alouettes, and it's a 14-14 game going into the fourth quarter. There is the 1,000th career pass for Geroy Simon. Doesn't look very happy about it.
No, he sure doesn't.
Well, it wasn't a first down. It wasn't a touchdown. He didn't even hang on to the football. The Riders had to punt on the very next play. Still a 14-14 game. Nieswander to S.J. Green. This time he fumbles, and John Chick picks it up. Brackenridge got credit for the forced fumble. He would be our defensive player of the game on the Rider radio broadcast. So the Riders get it back, but they get no points. Nieswander now. He's intercepted by Dwight Anderson, who would stand up and celebrate lustily, John, at the Alouettes bench. And we're rocking and rolling. Are we? Maybe not. Hang on, the pressure. Darian gets away, looking, boom, it comes out.
Ball rolling around, picked up by who?
Gerald Brown.
It was all the way.
Number 39, all the way down for the score. And as you see, 1:45 is left in the game. A lot of people were heading to the exits. They didn't have faith. Darian pumped downfield. Boom. Taz Smith gets behind the corner. And the Riders tie the football game up.
What a play. How many people are left, I wonder?
Quite a few. I would say in the hundreds. How many of them came back? That's what I want to know. And so the Owls, they can't do anything. They're 2-out. Defense holds them. Weston Dressler on the punt return.
Sensational punt return here.
This guy
is great.
Winds up being a 38-yard return.
Right.
For the product of Bismarck, North Dakota. That's how they say it. Our neighbors to the south. Did you know that, Jimmy McLeod? North Dakota.
Here it is.
The game-winning field goal. Rod Black said the most exciting game of the year ends there.
24-21 Sask.
Chris Milo, a 36-yard field goal, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders win the football game. And I wonder how many people came back. Listen, I don't chastise anybody for leaving early. They did think the game was in the bag for the Alouettes, I think. I leave everything early. If I could leave Rider games early, I would. Yeah. It's because of the parking. But they missed a heck of a finish.
They sure did. Great end, and just a great play there from Darian Durant to Smith. And they've combined now for about 4 big touchdowns like that this year, working really well together. And what a big play there, eh? An exciting play, and you win the game. So that's all that counts.
I talked before the highlights segment about Tom Shepard never giving up on his football team. And you and I talked at length on the radio on Monday about booing your team. Guy wrote in and said, listen, I pay my money. I can boo if I want to. He's absolutely
Of course
right.
he is.
But you know what you can't do? You can't be like Tom Shepard, and you can't be like John Lynch or even me. And at the end of the season, should this team win the Grey Cup, look Darian Durant in the face or stand in front of your friends and say, I never doubted him. I was with them the whole time. Because you weren't. Because you booed them. Just saying. Tom Shepard coming up on set next. But first, let's go back to Mosaic Stadium from Saturday's Corey Chamberlain post-game news conference.
Corey, every good team has to win a sloppy game every now and then. Let's talk about the way your team rebounded after what really was a tough effort for much of that game.
Yeah, Montreal, the strength of their team right now is their defense. They're a very strong defensive unit. Norththorpe has those guys playing at a pretty high level. But for the most part, what I talked to the team about is, you talk about these type of games, is it showed us tonight, I think the biggest win for us was not just on the scoreboard, but it showed that we had faith in one another, and we did all the way to the end, even though our play wavered throughout the game.
Rob Bagg, what can you say about him? It looked bad when he left, but he was walking around on the sideline after. Can you tell us anything about his injury?
Rob's a tough individual, so it's hard to read. We just have to see what the doctors, how they assess it, and what do they say from there. He's a strong-willed individual. Hope that it's better than what we all think it may be. And if not, Rob is a guy that I know that, he'll bounce back and do everything he has to in life to be a better Rob.
How about Weston Russell's shoulder? He hurts it. He's yanking on it. We know he's tough. Did he prove a little level tough?
Oh, I already know he's tough. The biggest thing is, I think we talked about bringing a winning culture here to Saskatchewan. And I can remember the days when I faced Saskatchewan that I thought they were the toughest football team in the CFL. And hopefully we're getting back to that, to where we're one of the toughest teams in the CFL. And until that clock says 0, we still have a chance to win games.
Corey, I don't remember watching a game where both teams seemed out of sync so much on all three levels. Through your eyes on the sidelines during that game, what were you thinking, I guess, when you're just watching, fumbles and Darian laterals almost behind, like just odd plays?
But, the one thing, like I said, it comes down to we have to be an unconditional team. It doesn't matter what the other team's doing or what state of their organization is or what they're playing for. We have to be good each and every game as individuals and as a unit, as a team. And I think the biggest thing is, like I said, there's that needs to be picked up. We know that. But, it was a lot of different things to where it was one of those games. But like I said, it ended up being a learning lesson from us that whether we're ahead or behind, we have to have faith in one another that we can all finish with the win.
Did Jock Sound disappoint you?
No, anytime the ball's on the ground, we're all disappointed, But, Jock's doing a good job thus far in this season. He has to get back to the fundamentals. He has to make sure that his mind is always in it. I'm not saying his mind was out of it, but he has to make sure he knows, that's 2 weeks in a row that he's had a crucial error.
Did you talk to the offense? I mean, it's hard to see from the press box. Did you address the offense at any time in the second half to try and get them going?
No, I talked to the team as a whole at halftime, and the one thing I'll tell you is I heard those guys. I can tell you I heard DA once says double, doesn't matter, we get the ball back, we believe in you. Ray was saying the same thing. I heard Ricky Foley say it. They kept saying we'll hold up until you guys come back. And that's what I'm the most proud of tonight, that those guys stood on their word.
Can you discuss your decision to call a timeout before the final field goal?
I was trying to ice our kicker. No, Milo knew we were going to call a timeout. We could have stayed in the huddle. We just wanted to run the clock down and give ourselves, give ourselves a chance in case anything went wrong.
How about Ricky Schmidt's game? It seemed to be, you talk about your defense keeping in the game. He seemed to be just keep punting and punting.
He's phenomenal. I think he had that one that went out of bounds, but other than that, with his punting and all those things, he definitely changes the field. He changes the field, and, like I said, in all three phases, we have people that can do the job for us. We just have to make sure that all three phases are clicking together and working together each and every night.
Does this kind of get your attention? Because you're going to play another team next week that has Edmonton has been struggling too?
Well, the whole thing about it, like I said, there are no over teams in this league. All teams, they have, this is professional football. They can win a football game, and they have won football games. The biggest thing with us is we have to make sure that we don't count on other teams or the rest or anything like this. We have to be a disciplined football team, and that's all areas. And not just discipline, but we also have to make sure that we're always diligent to do all the things that we need to be so we can be aggressive, fast, and winning.
You wanted to get better every game as the season goes on. Do you feel you guys were better this week than last?
I feel we have to win. That's the biggest thing, and at the end of the day, we can always get better in something. As we move forward, there's some things that we have to clean up football-wise, but I think the biggest win, like I told you, I was looking forward to, or excuse me, that I was most proud about was that the victory that we had mentally, that we all stayed together and we have faith in one another.
What does it say about your team that no matter how many obstacles were thrown in front of you and people were booing in the third quarter, despite that, you were able to pull out a victory? What does that say about this group?
Each and every morning, we say it's about the men in this room. Each and every morning, that's what we talk about. Fans, hey, they want to see a good game all the time, as though I do too. But, it's about the men in this room, and we had to stick together. That could have been something that divided us, but we still stood together, and that's the biggest thing.
So,
And welcome back to In the Huddle, everybody. A proud presentation of Bennett Dunlop Ford, run by Trevor Boquist over there, and he's a really nice guy. He used to be on the rider board. Good guy. And also these beautiful shirts, a presentation of TG Marketing up at Winnipeg Street North. Tom Shepard, we gave him one. He didn't want to wear stamps red and black like John Lynch, and I don't blame him, but he's got a beautiful Access shirt on. Canadian Football Hall of Famer, one of our best friends. How you doing, Thomas?
Oh, just great.
You don't mind when we poke all this stuff at you, do you?
I actually love it.
You forget it quickly, don't you?
No. I just want to get even sometimes.
Well,
You get even with me all the time.
You're more than welcome to do that. And Tom's wearing his Canadian Football Hall of Fame induction ring here tonight as we talk about the 6-1 Riders. And it should be great, shouldn't it, Tom? Best team in the CFL.
By far. And it is great. And I think everybody really understands it. But, sometimes you expect too much that it to go on forever. And everybody knew we were going to lose the game. And we did in Calgary. But we had a chance in Calgary. This game was very difficult, but I gave a lot of credit to the Montreal Alouettes defense. They were doing things. They changed. To me, it looked like they changed. The previous games, they were blitzing all the time, 6-7 guys. This time, they were just basically going with their front four and very few blitzes. They might send one, but not two or three. And the linebackers and everybody were back there in the box. And Corey, he looks and finds a spot, and then he breaks free. But this time there was linebackers all over the place, and it was a very difficult game. So I give credit to the Montreal defense, but most importantly, I give credit to Darian Durant at the end of the game. He, by his own admission, said he didn't play his best game, and that was obvious. But you want that guy to do the play at the end of the game, and Darian did that, and that was just a perfect pass and a perfect call. And I understand by reading the papers and other things that he even changed the call at the line of scrimmage. And you see on that play, Simon comes out of the backfield, and he's going to get 15 or 20 yards. And that's what I anticipated. They'd march down the field with those type of plays. But he went over the top, and what an exciting ending to the game. And then Montreal took the ball and threw two passes, and we got back again, and Dresser made the great run. And I think as fans, we got to love that. Our team, in a very difficult circumstance, played so well at the end, and they played well enough to win. And that's what it's all about.
Reminds you of Lancaster days?
Oh, definitely. I can remember a few games where Ronnie did that when it was almost impossible. One funny one was BC had the ball in the 5-yard line and were winning, and they took too long in the huddle, and they had a punt. And they punted, and we got the ball at center field, moved one play, and kicked the winning field goal. And it was impossible for us to win at that time. But that's the type of thing Ronnie did. And the same thing with Darian. He does it. He does it throughout the game. But this game, Montreal, and maybe Darian was off a bit, but you want your most valuable player to come through when it really counts. And I think that's what Corey was saying, that he liked the way his team stuck together and played together to the end. They weren't pointing fingers at each other. They just went out there and did what was needed. And if you think about some of the earlier plays, Dwight Anderson chasing them down and getting them on the 5-yard line. Twice they were in 1st and 10 on the 5-yard line, and our defense stopped them and held them to field goals. That's incredible defense, and those are the things we should look at.
Don't you think there's an over-excessive booing of Darien, though? It really bothers me.
Yeah, you know, I obviously was there right in the west side, right at center field, and I heard a bit, but I didn't hear it overly, especially from our section. I guess it might have been louder in some areas, but I sort of took it that was booing at the whole offense as opposed to just Darien. But it comes across as Darien. But sure, that's disappointing. I don't think you should do that. I don't even think you should boo the other team that much.
Well, let's be honest. I heard it.
Yeah.
He heard it. Where do you sit that you didn't hear it?
Right in the center field. I heard some.
What section? What section?
Section 41. Right
okay,
down
so
below
you're right
you guys.
down in front of us.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was up higher where we were, Lynch. People not as old as, older than Tom. That's where they sit. But we literally on the radio asked people, who were you booing?
Yeah.
They basically said, Darien Durant. And you know what? Who cares who heard it? Darien heard it.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's not right.
And it bothered him. It bothered him. Now, I don't know if you guys talk to Darien much at all. John does in his interviews. It's probably the guy that I talk to the most on the team, and I'll get into what our discussions are about it. But what did Ronnie Lancaster think back in the day? I mean, Kent couldn't handle it anymore. He had to get out.
Yeah.
How did Ronnie handle it?
Ronnie handled it probably the same as Darien. It bothered him, but he just made him more determined to come back and do something and show them that they were wrong. And in those days, everybody wanted the backup quarterback.
Yeah, but nothing's changed.
Well, they think that somebody should go in just for a brief period of time. But winning teams don't do that. You keep your quarterback in because anything can happen in a game. You don't make the change until it's absolutely necessary with an injury or something.
Fantastic crowd there, 40,000. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it was outstanding. And I guess it's going to be even bigger for Labor Day. They might get to 45,000 they're talking about.
Everything rolling along great, eh?
Yeah.
Touch wood, Lynch.
Well, all right.
Serious. Come on. It is great.
It is great.
It can be better.
It can be better, but not much. 6-1 is just fabulous.
Yeah,
and
not
you
much
look at
better.
the other team.
Good point.
Yeah, it's.
None of us thought they'd be 6-1 at this stage, guys. Who's kidding who?
No,
That'd have been me.
So.
Yeah. No, we always hope for it, but like we pick the riders every week in our pools. But realistically, you have to expect a loss from that. And sometimes it's better to have the loss early in the season and come back from it.
Let's look. We got lots of time to talk about the Riders, but let's look across the border over at Winnipeg, just because it's fun. They are. Actually, it's more fun to look at Edmonton and the squalor they're in. In Winnipeg, we just feel. What should I say? Empathy. I mean, we've been there, but Tom, you've made. I asked you before we went on the air. It's worse there than it's ever been here, and that's saying something.
That's saying something, and it is worse there than it ever was here. I was parts of those reign of error or whatever he calls it, Hughes.
He being Hughes, yeah.
Yeah, that has been. That has been. And he came up with all kinds of good sayings, but we had some chaos, and mainly it was because on the field we weren't doing that well. But Winnipeg, you're right, empathy is the word. It's you can't be cheering about it because it's so bad. You feel for them as an organization, and it's not good for the league or anybody to have a team like that. On the other hand, Edmonton, you don't have the empathy. And it's because of their organization. And you know what? I hope our fans realize that we're going to be in a hell of a football game this coming Saturday in Edmonton. That quarterback had 511 or 500 and something yards. He looked pretty good, and they're going to do that at home. I think it's been a long time, if not ever, that we've ever beaten Edmonton twice in a year in the season in Commonwealth Stadium.
I don't think it's ever happened.
And that would be a first. So
let's
hope.
They've never lost at home.
Yeah.
This is the first year they've lost all home games.
And the best thing about going in there, I guess their defense has got some, a suspect but their offense is coming along, and they got Stamps, and they've got a lot of good players there, and they're playing well.
You know, I go back and forth between the networks. Usually TSN does the best job of covering the CFL, but Sportsnet last night had more CFL coverage. And John, you'd be familiar with Mark Spector because you're an Oilers fan. You know who he is.
Yeah.
And he says nobody in Edmonton has really noticed, but they've been in last place 6 of the last 8 years, and they're on their way to this being the 6th time in 8 years this year. And he said, you know, the Ricky Ray trade was brought up. They still want to hang it on Tillman in Edmonton because they always got to point a finger at somebody.
Yeah.
But the point that Mark Spector made, and I respect him, he said that the players in Edmonton in Ricky Ray's day, near the end, weren't any good. You know, this is how he's gone to Toronto and looked like he's 25 again because he's surrounded by talent in Toronto. At Edmonton, they haven't had the talent. And, Tom, in Edmonton, they don't want to admit they are not the best in the league. They just got to look at the records and they'd realize it.
Right, but, you know, just like our record is 6-1, they're at 1-6. They lost 2 games at the last play of the game. And if they'd won those, they'd be respectful. So I'm just cautioning us as fans not to take Edmonton too lightly. Their record says they're 1-6, but their play might have been a little bit better than that. And they are coming on, and that young quarterback has certainly had a game for the ages for him. He even had more yards passing than Ricky Ray in that game, and Ricky Ray had well over 400 and something.
Kavis Reed, I hear, is really on the hot seat going to this game from some connections I have up there. They lose, he's gone.
I'd be surprised that because I think Hervey is in tune with them. He gave him the extension, and I think he can look at some of the progress that they're making, but I would be surprised if he's gone no matter what happens. But I don't think that's a way for them to correct anything in mid-season. I think you got to wait to the off-season to make those type of moves.
Tom, you've been at management level in the CFL for so long. Whenever it's the Riders or any other team, when you see a contract extension handed out, or you like me and just go, "Oy."
Yeah, the kiss of death.
It's a kiss of death,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't work, you got to pay out that extension.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when Ed Hervey gave it to Kavis Reed in week 1 or 2 this year, I was like,
Why?
why?
Yeah.
You know, the only good or smart thing in my mind Ed Hervey's done is get Mike Riley in the trade from the BC Lions.
That was a super
Right.
job by Hervey to do it before the Winnipegs or anybody else had a chance. And, you know, if Winnipeg had him, they might be a much better team also. But Hervey did the job, and you have to give him credit for that. And then they lost in that first game against us. They lost the other quarterback. And he looks like a genius on that one particular transaction.
This is flying by. Lots to get to with Tom Shepard as well. We're going to talk about the 2013 Friends of the Riders Touchdown Lottery. They're not on sale yet, are they, Thomas?
Yes, they are.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. But first, let's go back to the locker room. John Frenzy did some tremendous post-game interviews after the Riders' 24-21 win over Montreal.
Here, I know I asked this out in the field, but just to play to Taj, can you just describe that one? Is that something you knew you had all day?
Well, it's something that, I knew I could take advantage of, especially we tried it earlier in the game, but Gerald Brown was in there, and he's their starter. But at that time, he was out. So we knew we had a young guy in there, and he didn't get over the top. I knew I could keep Tisdale low with my eyes, and did that, and put it out there. Taj ran up under it.
I know you were probably asked this before, and I do apologize, but it did seem sloppy out there today. Was there a reason for that or not?
You got to give Montreal's defense a lot of credit. I mean, they're a great defense. They're tops in the league, across the board, especially on second down defense. And, you just got to give them credit. Of course, we were rusty. Of course, I made some bad decisions, turned the ball over. But, we came through in the clutch. You got to give the defense a lot of credit for those big turnovers when they were in scoring range.
Did that defensive line of theirs do things you didn't expect?
Not really, no. They did a good job of bottling up the run all day. They always seemed an extra guy. Like, we felt like we had some good blocks, but they always just seemed to have one more than we had blockers. So hats off to them. Like, they played well, but luckily they broke by the end.
Cox, Emery, and Hebert, probably one of the best linebacking crews in the league, other than ours for the Alouettes.
Oh, yeah, they're all 3 good players. Cox, you never know he's going to show up. Like, Hebert, he comes like a bat out of hell. And Shea Emery's definitely a really good middle linebacker. So, it was a good test against them. I think we did a pretty good job. Obviously, we want to do a little better. But, we weathered the storm. So,
is it hard to get up for a team like Montreal And looking at the situation they're in right now?
Not at all. I was on the 2009-2010 team. It'll never be hard to get up from Montreal. I hate Montreal.
Yeah, but that's from before, right?
Oh, no, that crossover year to year. There's enough guys left on that team. I don't have any problem getting up from Montreal.
Very important for us to come back and win this one.
Oh, very, very important for sure. Sometimes you got to win ugly. Unfortunately, like we kept the faith. The team stuck together the whole 60 minutes, and we pulled it off. And that's the best part.
How are you feeling? Was it jammed your left shoulder, or is it?
Yeah, it's all right. A little sore, but got a few days now to rest it out, get some ice on, and go again.
You kept yanking on. Was that just to ease the pain, or what was the?
I don't really know what's going on in there, but it seemed to help bring it back, so I kept doing it.
You did it on a touchdown. Does it make it feel a little easier to take when that happens? Does it still hurt like crazy?
I thought it would be a little easier catching a ball in the end zone, but no, it's just one of those things that I got to play with right now, and you got to play through it and just do what you can on the field to help the team win.
Next secondary, do everything you expected?
Yeah, I mean, they do a good job of disguising their looks. They show a lot of pressure looks, and sometimes they bail out of it, sometimes they don't. So they do a pretty good job of disguising it and kind of keeping you guessing.
Keith Shulligan having a great year. You got married in the offseason.
Actually, 2 years ago. They haven't updated that profile yet. My wife wants to let everybody know it was 2 years ago when we had a baby just the other day. So
how's that working out?
Married for a good year and a half before we had kids. Great. It's great to have that kid around. Will is he's so cute. Emma, my wife, is just a baller. She just takes care of everything, and I try to help out. But for me and babies, hopefully, when he's a year or two old.
Oh, I know what it's like.
A little bit more.
All right, what a game, eh?
Oh, just the way we fought through, and our offense. They had some bounces that didn't go their way, but they just fought through it. And our defense again played well. 14 points against us in the decisions we got put in. We played well, but as a team, we fought through and we won.
Yeah, I don't know how to say, but is it difficult to get up for a team like Montreal, and all you hear is negative things about them? I mean, you're not far. It wasn't like a Calgary game, eh? Where you want to go out in the field because they're winning, but the Alouettes. Picture them as they're losing and lousy and everything else.
It's still Montreal, especially with all the changes over there. We didn't know what we were going to expect because their offense had changed so much. And you look at their offense, and to me, it was kind of the offense that they used to have. A lot of let's just get what we need, try to move the ball, try to keep the clock possession, and we played well against it. And that's kind of the thing to go up against. And when you think, you're playing Montreal, you always want to beat Montreal.
Now they put Nusswinder in there. I mean, you guys, you never seen him before. How do you adjust to that?
You know what? When Cavillo's in there, you know that the ball's going exactly where it needs to be, but he's not going to move around a lot. Where we knew that all their backup quarterbacks are usually athletic guys that move around extremely well. So we knew that they were going to slide the pocket the way they did, just because everybody else, the athletic quarterbacks, slide in the pocket against us. So we knew that coming in, as if the Diz goes down, that's what's going to happen, and that's what they did. More athletic, moved the ball around a lot more, but the accuracy and the Cavillo effect wasn't there.
As part of
Welcome back to In the Huddle, everybody. We are about halfway through, a little more than halfway through. It's flying by with our special guest, Tom Shepard. Couple things I want to remind you of. One is, if you're going up to Edmonton this weekend for the Riders and Eskimos game, 2 o'clock at Commonwealth Stadium, be aware of the party at the Expo Edmonton Center. I've never been there. Apparently, it's only 2 blocks from Commonwealth Stadium. It's a Tourism Saskatchewan sponsored party. Gain of the Gopher is going to be there. Door prizes, food and drink, some Rough Rider personnel, 10:30 to 1:30 at the Edmonton Expo Center. And then there's a post-game party at some undisclosed bar yet. They've asked me to invite you all down there, but I haven't got the name of it yet. So check out rodpedersen.com and celebrate with other Rider fans, because there's strength in numbers. And Tom Shepard, at least they're being nice to us up in Edmonton, unlike Calgary. Boy, they really sure hate us there.
Yeah,
Has it always been that way?
Well, quite a bit, but I guess this last game and that they treated the whole team very shabbily. And so I don't know what's in there. It's jealousy or what, Calgary. But you're right, Edmonton treats you like we treat other teams when they come to town, with respect. And Calgary, I guess it's just the competitive juices drives them crazy. And they hate it when they see so much green in the stands every game, and the loud cheering for the Rough Riders at a home game for Calgary.
I think I'd hate it too. When you really stop and think
Sure
about
you
it,
would.
if another team came into our stadium, I would hate it too. But that's not the case.
No.
It's not our fault.
Not our fault.
All right, you look ahead, Tommy. Great year, great history the last 3 or 4 years. Going to take some turns maybe in the next couple of years with Ottawa coming into the league. How do you feel about that rebuilding there and having to give up so many players, each team, to make sure Ottawa's strong?
Well, I remember the last time the general managers at the time made it certain that they weren't going to lose anything. You know, Huey Campbell, Jimmy Pop, and those people made a very difficult thing for Ottawa. And as much as we hate to lose, because we are going to lose 1 or 2 very good players that are great contributors to our team, it's probably the only way you can bring a team in. You can't have them going 0-18 the first year. You've got to allow them to have a chance. And I think this year's draft has been set up properly to give them a chance. They're going to get a good Canadian, they're going to get a good import, and they're going to get some reasonably good quarterbacks, 2 of them from certain teams. So as much as you don't like it, I think it's logically the right way to go.
Shouldn't they have a coach by now?
You would think so, but I guess probably who they want is probably working.
Yeah,
I don't
December
know.
13th, they're going to do this draft. I mean, the season's over, and then 1 month later, you're going to have to...
Well, they're probably not going to worry about the coach in the draft. They're spending all their time studying it, all the players right now, and I bet they probably got a list. It could be.
Yeah, they is Marcel Desjardins by himself.
Yeah, and he's got some scouts, I know, and I don't think it's necessary to hire their coach right now.
I don't think it is either, because it's the GM's job. We've been around sports long enough. He supplies the players,
and the coach coaches them.
And then the coach coaches them. Yeah. It's pretty rare that the coach will say, hey, these are the guys I want, you go get them.
Yeah.
Maybe in season, the coach will say, hey, we got some holes in these areas.
We need something.
Go find them. Yeah. But it's the GM's job to assemble the meal, John. They go grocery shopping, and the coach is the chef. That's how it works.
Thank you.
I agree.
Not that you don't know, but you know, the Riders are going to be rated
badly.
We're going to lose good Canadians and good Americans, Tom, but that's what happens. Maybe people didn't realize, but they have the best record in the league, 6-1. So they're going to be targeted by the Ottawa Red Blacks. And isn't it something that Brendan Taman has assembled this cast, the best in the league? And, you know, they say this is the first time in Brendan's career as a GM that he's been given complete autonomy to run a team the way he wants. Isn't that hard to believe? Because he was in Winnipeg for 10 years. He had Ken Miller and Eric Tillman here. You were around. You were the president of the Riders when he started in 1988 in the CFL. What do you remember about him back then?
Well, you just remember him a young guy that would do anything that the team needed to be done, almost like a gopher type of a guy. And he was working, and he worked with Dan Rambo, and Dan Rambo trained him, and he just sucked it all in and made mental notes, I'm sure, and he just developed himself as an outstanding general manager, and it was over a long period of time. And if you think also, the general manager of the Atlanta Falcons is another one that was around that time when we were there.
Tom Dimitrov?
Yeah. He worked for peanuts for Al, and he went on to be a general manager in the National Football League.
It is a very small world and fraternity.
Yeah, when you think of 2 of those people from the 80s under Al have gone on to be very successful general managers.
We have to take a brief pause. It's Tom Shepard's favorite part of the show, I'm told, the Cooperators' Rules of the Game with Ken Pickett.
Rules of the Game.
Welcome back to another week of Cooperators Rules of the Game. Tonight I got some plays from the Saskatchewan game from the Saturday afternoon against the Montreal Alouettes. But first of all, before I get into the plays, I just want to explain, I have a lot of people over the last 2 or 3 weeks, they come to notice that the clock is running on converts. It does run on converts. That started a few years back. At one time, if a touchdown was scored at the end of the first quarter, end of the third quarter, they would reset the clock to 15 minutes and then kick the convert while the clock was running. And then they would change the ends. So the clock does run on converts, except in the last 3 minutes of each the second and the fourth quarter. So that started like a few years ago. The first play I'm going to pick up on, I thought was earlier in the game. It's a fumble by the Saskatchewan, I think it was the running back number 1. You see the ball came out, the opposite team picked it up and started running towards the other end zone, but they got tackled. Saskatchewan challenged. Saskatchewan was challenged down by contact. They went to the command center, and if you look at it, it was very tight. The officials on the field thought that ball might have come out just before the elbow hit the ground. So they let the play go, and it was a good challenge by Saskatchewan. As you look at it, you'll see that the Saskatchewan running back's elbow did hit the ground, and then the ball just came out about the same time. So he was ruled down by contact from the command center. The second one I'm going to talk about, you don't see this penalty very often. It's when Saskatchewan, one of the defensive linemen got called for tripping. Tripping is a penalty called when they use their legs or their foot to trip up a ball carrier. And you notice the Saskatchewan defender got pushed to the ground. As the running back was coming by him, you can see him, he raised his leg up and his foot to trip the running back. That is called tripping. That's why that penalty was called. You don't see those kind of penalties very often. The last thing I'm going to talk about, when Saskatchewan got called for intentional grounding. You see that the Saskatchewan quarterback, number 4, was getting pressured by the defensive line. And as he was getting pressured, you can see him moving backwards, and he's just about ready to fall back when he throws the ball, and it did not cross the line of scrimmage. And you'll notice the sideline official was waving his hands to the referee to point that the ball did not cross the line of scrimmage. So in that situation there, that's when the referee threw his flag. Now, if the ball would have crossed the line of scrimmage, there's no intentional grounding, or if he threw it up in the stands across the line of scrimmage, it's not intentional grounding. But in that situation there, you notice he was just dumping the ball off, trying to avoid the loss of yardage. So that's why it went to 2nd down and 25. So it's the loss of down plus the yardage that he lost. Those are the plays I had for this week. I'm Ken Pickett for Cooperators, Rules of the Game.
Rules of the game.
All right, welcome back to In the Huddle, everybody. We mentioned that Tom Shepard's favorite part of the show is the Cooperators Rules of the Game, and it is pretty good with Ken Pickett. My favorite is Game Faces, and it's coming up, a brand new edition from before the game on Saturday against Montreal. But Tom Shepard's with us, Canadian Football Hall of Famer. Tom, you have the Friends of the Riders Touchdown Lottery. I didn't even know it was on sale yet. I haven't heard the commercials yet. But let's talk about the lottery and also what's new this year.
Well, our commercials have been on your football broadcast.
Is that right? Well, I don't listen to those.
No, I know. You're getting geared up for the rest of the game. But, yes, we're launched. We've been launched for about 3 weeks. The end of July, 1st of August, we mailed out to all our previous ticket purchasers. And this year, the lottery's back bigger than ever. We've got over $2 million in prizes. We've got 1,269 prizes. This year, I've added another $100,000 first prize. So we now have 5 $100,000 prizes. Instead of giving one big prize, I'd like to give away $100,000 to 5 different people, great rider fans. So that's a new twist. We have our 15 cars, brand new cars. We have 2 sports boats, a camper trailer. We have all kinds of trips, big packages for the Grey Cup this year, trips all over the world. We got appliances, we've got electronic TVs, big screen TVs. We've got something for everyone. Like I say, 1,269 major prizes. Plus, we've got prizes in the early bird. We've got another $30,000 cash in the early bird, which is coming up on October the 3rd. And we have another car in the early bird. So something for everyone. I just urge people to buy their ticket because, you know, all the profits go directly to the bottom line of the football club. And if we sell it out, and I use if kind of cautiously, we probably will sell it out, that will turn over about $1.5 million to the club's bottom line. And it goes a long way to helping them look after any rainy day or any emergencies or sign these great players. We've got some great players who's coming into their option year. We want to sign them. So what you have to do is you have to call 1-800-668-1999 or go on the web at friendsoftheriders.com, buy your ticket, and whatever you do, don't forget the 50-50. You can buy your 50-50 ticket if you first buy your lottery ticket. And last year, the winner of the 50-50 prize got $320,000, and this year I'm estimating that it'll be $700,000 and $350,000 to the winner.
There you go. You're going to be hearing lots from Tom Shepard, but we are tight on time. Let's go to Fan Forum for this week's question.
The Saskatchewan Fan Forum is your chance to line up and ask your Rider questions from around the province.
Long-time Rider fan Tom Boyka with me right now. Tom, what about this season? 6-1, how do you feel about that?
I'm quite pleased with the way the Riders are performing this year. I really don't have any complaints. Every facet of the team is strong, and you can see that they can come back from a game, that they're never out of it. They just don't give up.
Yeah, a lot of people upset with the game against the Alouettes. What did you think of that one?
You have to give the Alouettes credit. I mean, last year they were a strong team. Parts of their team this year are strong. You can't take that away from them. The fact that they haven't won any games, I mean, that's on the offense. But the defense is strong. You can't fault them on that.
40,000 fans there. How about that?
Amazing, amazing. It's always good to see all the fans come out for all the Rider games and all the support.
Yeah, but did you think Saskatchewan support was really that strong?
Yeah.
That's good. You did it.
I think there's always going to be the bandwagon jumpers that jump off and want to criticize the team for not playing better, and they want them to be superstars. They're in the trenches. They're pounding it out. I think they'll do well. I think they'll be a good contender for the Grey Cup this year.
Expecting to see them in the Grey Cup?
I am expecting to see them in the Grey Cup. They're that strong.
I am too. Hope we're both right. Yeah. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Watch for your opportunity to line up in the Saskatchewan Fan Forum next time on In the Huddle.
Hey, Tom, thanks a lot for the Fan Forum comment with Frenzy. Okay, we're going to fly through this last segment. Less than a minute a game. Let's start in Week 9. What do we got, guys? Thursday night, are we showing the graphic here? It's the Montreal Alouettes home to the BC Lions. BC a long ways to travel, Tom. What do you think's going to happen here?
Well, I was going to take Montreal, and I still am, because I like to take what I want to happen. But, you know, with missing 8 players, it's going to be very difficult. But I'm going to stick with Montreal. It's a long trip for BC.
John Frenzy?
BC Lions all the way, you guys. Come on. They're back in the race.
Okay, fine. Let's move along to the next game in Week 9 of the Canadian Football League. It is the Calgary Stampeders at the Toronto Argonauts. That's quite a battle.
That's going to be quite a battle, but I'm taking Toronto. Ricky Ray is just playing sensational.
It's a rematch of the 2012 Grey Cup, gentlemen, which I don't need to remind you the Argos won. Tom's saying an Argo repeat. How about you, John Frenzy?
Yeah, Argos all the way.
Really? Yeah. Argos all the way. I haven't even made my picks yet. I think I'm going to go with BC and Toronto to win those football games. And then Friday night, or at least continuing on Week 9 in the CFL, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Hamilton Tiger Cats. Any chance, that's Saturday, any chance that the Bombers win, Tom?
I don't think so. I think Hamilton's coming into their own. They were a better club than their record was. They should have won that first game against Toronto. I think they'll really lay a licking on Winnipeg, unfortunately.
John Lynch?
Bombers deserve a medal for going there. I'm with Tom. Hamilton, big score, big victory.
I'm taking Hamilton to win the football game, too. Gentlemen, how much time do we have here before we wrap it all up? Well, a couple of minutes left to talk about the Riders and the Edmonton Eskimos, Tom. I mean, we're all picking the Riders to win. I think we all believe the Riders will win. But you don't think it'll be a rout?
No, I definitely don't think it'll be a rout. I think for some reason playing in Commonwealth Stadium is always a difficult chore. And if that quarterback plays anywhere near he played last week, it's going to be a very difficult game. I expect a high-scoring game by both teams, but we'll win.
That's going to be a very exciting game. I agree with Tom. Thrilling game. Last-minute field goal wins the game for us.
Well, let's enjoy it. 6-1. Let's enjoy it, Tom. Did you ever think they'd have the best record in the CFL this late into the season and fans would be fighting with each other over, I don't even know what? It's dumb.
Yeah, dumb. I agree with you there. No, I